For the last 3 years, I've gone along to Summer in the City, which is a big YouTube convention in London, and I've done a review of it afterwards. So let's not break tradition now. Let's review Summer in the City 2017. So to start off, let's focus on the positive, the things that were done a lot better this year than they have been done in previous years. Nice place to start. First of all, the layout of the expo hall and the contents of the expo hall and just generally the expo hall. So much better, especially from last year. I felt that previous years it's felt a little bit just sort of thrown together and things are just set up wherever they're set up and there wasn't really a flow. I don't know how to really describe exactly how it felt. It just wasn't, I don't know, there were lots of areas where everything was very compact with very little space in between, and then you'd have these big open areas with nothing in them, and it was a bit odd. Whereas this year they had a nice balance. Everything was put together in a reasonable, sensible way, and there wasn't big empty space in the middle of things, and yeah, it had a good flow to it, and the atmosphere, I think, reflected that. I also loved the little mini stages. There was a stage for gaming, one for lifestyle, and there was a fashion one as well. And I think this was a really good idea because they had lots of things going on these stages throughout the entire weekend, that it just meant they could have more going on at once, especially for more niche and, trying out new things kind of panels and discussions. And it just worked, and it was a lot more casual as well. You could kind of drift in and out of those without that being a big deal and just kind of see what was going on and get a better idea of the whole event. Earlier this year, I went to VidCon EU in Amsterdam, so obviously comparisons to that seem to make sense. There are some things about VidCon that I preferred, and there are some things about Summer in the City that I preferred. I think for me personally, VidCon was more set up for what I wanted. It was full of panels that I was really interested in. I was so busy taking notes and learning things, listening to people with different ideas to me, and I don't know, I had such an eventful weekend at VidCon, and Summer in the City, it just feels more set up for people who are fans of YouTube than people who are doing YouTube. And I don't know, the Creator Day doesn't quite match up to the Creator track of VidCon. But equally, VidCon's a lot more expensive. So the problem I have with Creator Day is that if you are a very new creator and you've not been doing it very long, or you've not put that much effort into improving the stuff you're doing, like you're just kind of, winging it and not really paying much attention, and you want to take things to a new level, there's a lot of stuff there. Like there's advice. There was a panel talking about how to basic vlogging setups and how to do things. And that was really good for my first year when I attended, because I learned a lot about how to set things up nicely and how to do a 3-point lighting system and all these kinds of things that were really useful. But now I know them, and there isn't anything about, if you know the reasonable basics, how to take things to another level. What there is after that point is stuff to do with brand deals and management, and it's very money focused, which is fine, but I'm not there yet. That's not what I need to be learning about. So I kind of just felt like it's at the beginning or it's established. And if you're in this middle ground, which the majority of people probably are, then there just wasn't a focus for us. Now, onto the problem that I have with Summer in the City. Why it's just not really for me anymore. And I think it kind of comes from this whole, it's good for new creators, very established creators, and people who want to meet their YouTube idols. And I'm not really any of those things. And I think that's the problem, because it's just not really set up as a way for small YouTubers to meet other small YouTubers unless they already know some to introduce them to more people, if that makes sense. And I think also because I've been to 2 SitCs and VidCon EU, the panels are all very similar in what they talk about, and the people who are on the panels are quite similar, if not the same people. So the discussion is kind of similar, and I just wasn't being stimulated, I think was the problem. I was a bit bored. It's all a bit same old. And that's not to say the panels were bad, it's just that I heard it before and it just wasn't engaging me. So what would I want from next year's event? Well, a better networking space on Creator Day, a focus on making friends, not just absorbing information about how to make more money. I want an area designated to meet people, maybe with some kind of sign saying when you enter this space, you are saying that you want to talk to new people and make new friends, which helps break the ice. If you know everybody surrounding you is there, possibly also on their own, and wants to meet people, it makes it easy to just go up and introduce yourself. And that would have been really helpful. I'm not very good at talking to people I don't know. I'm naturally an introverted person. And it's difficult, and I think having that barrier brought down of knowing that anyone who's around is up for a chat, that would help. And the open mic tent would have been perfect for this. I said it in my video last year, it's not being used on Creator Day, it's just a space that has no purpose, and that would have been a great purpose for it. So Tom Burns or any of the other organisers, if you're watching, maybe consider for next year. That'd be great. And I know you had a networking area last year, but people weren't using it for that. There were just sofas available. They were sitting on them. You'd need more seating space for people to relax for that area not to get taken over for chill out purposes. At the very least, a space for leaving business cards, because in VidCon there was the Creator Lounge, and that became a place where people were just leaving their cards around. And I found loads of channels that way, because I was just going around picking up cards, ones where there was only one or two of them around I took a photo of, and I found a lot of channels. That was a good system as far as I'm concerned. Make that socially acceptable rather than seeming a bit pretentious of just, here's my card, I'll distribute it. So my overall view of SitC, it's great for what it is, but it's not for me as it is. But that doesn't mean I didn't have a good time. You know, it was a long, tiring weekend with lots of meeting people and chatting, which doesn't come to me naturally and makes me quite tired just from the concentration of talking to people, but it was nice to do, and I've met some really cool people who I'm hoping I will speak with again and we'll get to see at future events. So it was definitely worth going, but I think it's lost a little bit of its charm for me just because I've been a few times now. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the novelty factor's gone. But if you are new to YouTube, or you're wanting to go to that next level, or you just want to meet people, you know, your favourite YouTubers, and you want to say hi and get a photo with them, then yeah, go to SitC. It's a pretty good event for that kind of thing. It's not so great for meeting other small YouTubers.